Alright, let's get this started. I am Sean, also known as Secretly a Sliver. You may have seen me buzzing around the server, but just if you're not aware, I'm usually a speedrunner, so a lot of my, a lot of what I say is gonna revolve around speed and efficiency, uh, and not necessarily like routing tips and whatnot. So I don't know, you'll figure it out. So I usually watch you at 2 times speed. Just otherwise these get way too long. And it's pretty easy uh to diagnose what you're doing and what you're not doing. Alright, so this is Kaz boots, I think, right? At least it looks like it. You have boots and a sword there. Oh yeah. So on the right you'll see my gameplay, and this is the Link to the Past rando crack hack. I think it's 14.3.5. I don't believe that it's 14.3.4. So it's not necessarily completely up to date, but it's got everything we need, including fast ROM. So fire rod to start, but right away we're not going for speed. So let me show you where your goal is here. Yeah, okay. Let me show you where you're going here. Your goal is this screen transition up here. Alright? But after you do the screen transition, you're definitely going to want to go to the left. So what you should do here is just start out going to the left. To the right, do the same thing. We'll see it's 746 versus going to the left. 724. So this is what I was talking about with efficiency. You gotta take the shortest path possible. I think you've played speedruns before, so it's pretty obvious, but... And then, one important thing about casual boots, in particular, is, let's get me... boot. So after you get this item, so you'll see I'm pressing the sword button, and I can't swing the sword. That's because there's no programming in the game to have you swing the sword before you talk to Uncle. Because the game doesn't expect that there's any way that you will have a sword before that. But it kind of overlooked that there's really no way for you to get the boots either. So it lets us dash. See, it lets us dash. And when you're dashing, obviously you don't see the sword being out, but it actually is, and you can dash through bushes. Alright, so for Kaz boots, this is your opener here. There's 2 things you can do here. This is the try-hard top route. The downside to this is if you hop off this slanted ledge, you lose about a second. But you can fix that by just wrapping around and kind of aligning yourself by going through these bushes. And like this way is barely even faster, if I remember right. It's like 5 5 frames? 555 versus 612. So it's like between 15 and 20 frames faster to go the top way, but it's infinitely more difficult because here you have to make sure that you're stopping on a pixel that won't make you jump off the. Make sure it won't make you jump off like this way. That loses a full second if you do that, but you also need to stop pretty much on a dime here. Versus here, this is a lot less precise. There are, I think, 6 pixels that you can dash on here and still get on the right one. So this is an instance of doing what's technically a slower strat, but that's a lot more consistent. You should praise consistency over everything. If something loses a fractional amount of time but you're 100% consistent with it versus you're inconsistent with the other strat and the other strat makes you lose time because you end up like getting hit or jumping off in the wrong spot or something like that, then definitely just do the consistent version and you can work on the faster version later. Alright. A bit over. I definitely get both of those because you have the fire rod. Yeah, you can't do tree pulls in rain state. Not going to try to nitpick too much here because you did say in your post that you haven't played very much, so... A little more effective way to do that. This works with or without boots. Is to step into the doorway and try to spin this guy twice, because then he drops the key at the bottom of the room near the door. And you can just collect it and move on. Now this is rando, so we want this chest. So you can still do this and kind of do something like that, where you walk into the key after you grab the chest. Yeah, that's a decent use of your fire rod. Like you're getting some advice from chat, which you probably asked for, but I just, as a formality, have to say getting a hint like that from chat will disqualify you from a race, but I think you know that. Just show you that really quick. Okay. So this is pretty brainless. Just go. Here, you just go. Here, I mean, these rooms are all pretty easy, but then this one, with boots, it's actually faster to go this bottom way, just because there's these long straight paths, and there's nothing, like, in your way to slow you down. Versus, like, if you do something like this, then, like, you have to maneuver around all of these obstacles, and you're going at walking speed instead of dashing speed. So simplify that up a little bit. If you're pushing up against a ledge and you tap the A button, you'll do what's called a quick hop off of the ledge. Basically, just When you don't, when you're not dashing, Link has to press against a ledge for 20 frames in order to jump off of it. Tapping the boots bypasses that wait time. Or dashing into the ledge does it too, but walking up to it and tapping the boots makes the game think you dashed into it. Yeah, don't take this too much the wrong way, but like I can tell like you're getting lost, you're overshooting stuff, you're not really seems like you don't 100% know where to go. You can bonk that open, by the way. And it's important to know because you won't always get bombs. Yeah, so I suggest before the tournament to just, you know, run either the vanilla game or just run a bunch of Kazboot seeds just so you basically know where you're going cuz I can tell you're getting lost here. You don't really want that to happen in the middle of a race. All right, so yeah, for Kazboots, always check bonk rocks. You don't necessarily need tree pools. I guess you can look for rupees, but you can definitely skip those if you want. Yeah, and I always check lumberjack ledge just because a sword assured seed, like having an assured sword, ups the chance that you're gonna run into an Agaseed by like 33%. Did you skip a check? Yeah, you skipped right past that. Just okay, you went back for it. Oh no. Yeah, you gotta make sure you're getting every item when you're there and not having to go back for stuff because especially for blind set you have to go back through two rooms and it's not exactly great. All right, so we have a red cane, a fire rod, combos. All right, so we have Ega 1 access. We know that but we know that nothing is on lumberjack ledge, so it might be advantageous to uh maybe hold off on Aga a little bit. You can bonk into that wall and it'll open. Bonking walls is faster than bombing them. Yeah, save and quit from here. As you get more familiar with the game, you'll figure out like when you can't do anything else and when you can save and quit and not take those extra screen transitions. But for now, it's fine. We're pausing. Not really 100% sure why we're pausing here, but because I don't have your sound on. And I know you're talking about it, but I think maybe you were talking to someone in chat. So, alright. So you're isolating Gina here. The fastest time to go for Agina is when you do the dam the first time. Up to you whether you want to isolate that or not. I'm not really a fan of it, but because checks that you don't need any other items to access are also known as Sphere Zero checks, and they tend to have progression more often than not. I, like, until you find access to the Dark World, you're going to clear all of those checks, and now you just left one behind that you need to make a special trip for. Now, that said, a lot of other people will also do that, so... Alright, nice water walk. Just one quick thing about the water walk, that you don't really need to be that precise with it. Like, if you had dashed there, it would have worked. You just need to be, like, kind of next to the pit. You don't really need to be up on it like you were. Yeah, I would definitely go. I would definitely go to the bottom, and then get both of the checks at once. Yeah, even though you had the regular flippers there, water walking was better because you dash a lot faster than you swim. Also, controlling Link while he's swimming is impossible. It's really not. It's just you have to get used to how the momentum works, and it's hard for me to explain. You kind of have to anticipate which way you need to send your momentum. All right. There's a glove, which is big pog. So glove plus lamp usually tells me mountain. The fact that you don't have hookshot or mirror is kind of a feels bad, but there are two checks you can get just with those two. But yeah, Saha check is probably better value for your time. I'm trying to stay out of Eastern as much as I can here, so I'll probably climb the mountain before coming back before Eastern. So I know the information is good, but you're gonna get this information when you do your Dark World map check. So talking to Saha and getting the green pendant information now is, like, in my opinion, completely useless. It just slows you down. It just makes you go through a cutscene that you don't need to go to. You're gonna be hitting the Dark World very soon. Like, as soon as you get the Moon Pearl, you have Dark World access. So, like, and as soon as you get into the Dark World, you're gonna be checking your map. Looks like your tracker might have crashed. Is that why we paused for so long? All right, yeah, I save and quit here. Just go straight to the Dark World. Yeah, so you see what I mean here, though. Like, if you had not talked to Saha, you could have saved the few seconds that it took to mash through those text boxes, because you're gonna get that information as soon as you check the map here anyway. I would not have gone here. I would have probably gone to Hype Cave. The reason is, yes, you can you can clear Thieves Town and Skull Woods. They're going to be very quick to clear because you have a fire rod, you have a sword, and you have a hammer, so you can full clear both of those dungeons. However, why I would go to Hype Cave is you get 5 quick checks, which is all well and good, but you have 3 crystals in your light world. So that means there's 3 pendants in your dark world, and that's like the maximum chance that one of your clearable dungeons could be a pendant. If one of your clearable dungeons is not a pendant, then by all means just go do Stumpy, do dig game, and and then come back here, go do your 2 dungeons. But in the case that one of them is a pendant, you don't want to lock yourself into doing these checks and then have yourself in an awkward position of, oh, Skullwoods is a pendant. I don't really want to do it because it's only 2 items, something like that. If you do Hype Cave and the 2 checks to the left first, then you can give yourself a little bit of time to plan around that. Stairs are slow. Don't use them. Don't use stairs unless you have to. Um, if you bonk into this tree right here, that'll fill your magic. I know you're not very low necessarily. You have like 5 fire rod shots maybe, but I mean it's right here. You might as well just get it. Yeah, so both of those are pendants. And yeah, you seem like you're torn between just sucking up and doing it um or trying to skip some amount of this. Do we get an item? I don't think your auto tracking is working, but I think we got an item, right? Yeah. So getting one item and bouncing is uh certainly a valid option here. Just one small thing about these little baris. I would have just taken the damage and gone out. They don't do very much damage, so they do like maybe half a heart. And the difference between 4 hearts and 3.5 hearts in the dark world is 0. So take your damage, get your iframes, get out of there, rather than trying to slash them out of your way. I haven't seen you dash through bushes yet. You can dash through bushes. There you go. Yeah, so always take the time to write down your pendant and crystal info. Um, 'Cause every time you check the map, it's like I think 5 seconds. So you only want to have to do that a couple times. And again, and here, this is just being unfamiliar with the dungeon layout, but we'll slow this down a bit. So you can see you can go this way and down, and there's nothing stopping you from just going around the right side here. We'll see in a second. Yeah, you see this is where you just came from. So there's nothing stopping you from taking this path rather than the one you just did. And that one, and the one to the right is shorter. Okay, good. So, see a lot of people do this, and I'm not really sure why. But this room, dash up here, come over here, grab your item, and you want to hop off there, hop off here. Now, a lot of people want to transition the screen up here, and I'll show you why that's bad. Because if you transition up here, even if you get a perfect dash, first of all, that thing's in your way, and then second of all, there's this bunny beam. This bunny beam sucks. So, how do we deal with that? Well, off here, go down here, transition here, and now, because you transitioned in the middle, if you get a good, you can get a good dash and get off the screen before that bunny beam becomes a problem. Even if you don't dash this screen, you can totally walk this entire screen and not get bunny beamed. So that's why transitioning at the right place is so valuable. But I see every single person I've done a VOD review so far has transitioned at the top, and I'm not really sure why. So just very quickly, if you don't need that heart up there like right away, as in you're one hit from death, I would try to leave it there because you won't be able to farm it when you bring blind up. And it's a lot more valuable to be able to farm it before blind rather than right now. Unless, like I said, you're gonna immediately die. But that doesn't seem to be the case here. You're at least 2-hit KO. Yeah, pay attention a little bit because there's no way that you should have missed that you weren't picking up that brick for 30 whole frames. Yeah, so this is a very easily preventable mistake, and this may have just been because your auto tracker's broken. But here's the thing. So in Thieves Town, there's only one small key that's in a chest. All the rest of the small keys are underneath pots. So if you come to Blind Cell and you farm the Blind Cell chest and you have 0 keys like you do here, or I guess we can wait until you open the Blind Cell chest. So you open the Blind Cell chest and you have 0 keys like you do here, then you know you won't have to go to the big chest. So when you transition out of here, you can go straight up, and then this brick will still be gone. The reason for that is that the underworld in this game is made up of a bunch of what are called super tiles. So a super tile consists of several rooms. Sometimes it's one room on a super tile, but it can be up to like 4. I think the most rooms on a super tile is 4. So So this room above you, this room that you're in, and the blind cell room are all on the same super tile, meaning that any state base or any state flags that you trigger, like picking up the brick, will initiate a state flag to tell the game that the brick isn't there anymore. That will maintain as long as you don't leave these three rooms. However, the mistake here is that you go over here thinking you need to do the big chest. Now you've left the super tile, and now that resets that. So now when you go back and you try to go back through the middle, this brick is back. So that's a part of the game that you really need to pay attention to, because that can just waste you a lot of time. Seems like YOLOing blind, and we're kind of scared. Oh, you should have popped that potion a lot sooner. Yeah, if you were that scared of blind uh that you had the potion out right away, you should have just popped it. Because the blind refight sucks. I do understand, like, you were on the last hit and you were trying to maintain it, but yeah, for now I would say just if you're one hit KO to a boss, just use it. Okay. So dipping out of Skull Woods, because there's only one item there, was fine. I like full clearing Thieves Town here because honestly, you don't really have much better to do. The only other things you had to do were Hype Cave Stumpy and K40, not K45, Dig Game, and then you also have like what, two checks on the mountain and some amount of checks in Pod without a bow. Like I think full clearing Thieves Town for a green pendant here is a stronger play than any of those. Uh, so yeah, I'm pretty sure this was the right thing to do, and you did get the mitts in here, so it's what it is. Let's see where we go from here. I assume we cleared VOO already. Alright, always do dig game before picking up a follower, because he will not allow you to do the dig game if you have a follower in tow, and that includes the purple chest even if you drop it. You have to reset your follower state to be able to do dig game. So always do dig game first and then pick the frog up on the way back. Oh, you're being informed that your tracker is broken. Ah, there we go. Oh, now your tracker on my thing is broken. There we go. Yeah, so dig game's not exactly dead forever because you still have purple chests to do over there, but yeah, that's a bad miss because your your mirror could have been on the dig game, and then that would make the smith chain a lot better to do, and like because then you could turn in the smith and then you could bring the purple chest down here and pair the purple chest with all of this. So one really quick thing. when you're in Hype Cave, you want to place a bomb pretty much as soon as you can because you it's impossible to go too fast here. While you're in the item animation like that, the bomb is ticking down and it will explode while you're in the item animation every single time. And you won't take damage from it. So place the bomb as early as you can and just chuck it up there. All right. So yeah. Save and quit. Got to turn this guy in. But with that hook shot, I'm definitely thinking mountain. You can pretty much full clear the mountain in one shot now. Oh, shovel? Yeah, that's fine, I guess, but like you can pick that up at any time. There are a lot more checks than that on the mountain. Talking about fake powder. I'm not completely sold on fake powder here, but seems like something you want to do, so I don't really like fake powder and non-key sanity seeds just because if there's something that you need there, you will eventually just get the powder. And you already have Samaria, you already have the ice rod. There's two bows out there, so you could just find the other one. Like leaving this until you get the real powder is probably just better because now you're coming up here with no magic, and you also have like full turtle rock access. So assuming that it's not ether. Now there is a refill in Super Bunny Cave, so it's not that much of an issue, but so Link walks at 1.5 pixels per frame, even with the old man. Link dashes at 1 pixel per frame with the old man. So don't dash when you have the old man. When you're on a ladder and you press the hook shot and the dash button at the same time, like on the same frame, you'll enter what's called super speed state, and you'll be able to zip around. Yeah, that's the wrong entrance. Want to see why this bomb jump failed? Yes. Okay. Tangent incoming. So The reason that bomb jumps work is because Link's height is set to a certain value whenever you hit. Uh, anyway, Link's height is set to a set value. When you collect a when you collect an item from a slot 0 enemy while it's in the air, then that also messes with Link's height value. In this case, the slot 0 enemy, or the first enemy that spawns in the room, is this mini Moldorm right here. The center one. Now, as you can see, he's over here, and you miss him. That's fine, whatever. He's over here. He's over here. Now he's the last one left. But what do we do here? He dropped an item, and you collected it while it was in the air. What that means is that you can't do a bomb jump. Your height value is not at the correct value to do a bomb jump. Now, you fix that by resetting the super tile, because this value resets every time you enter a new super tile, but you will not be able to perform a bomb jump like that. It's really hard to keep track of something like that, but I would say, just to be safe, just try to wait until it drops fully hit the ground if you're going to be doing bomb jumps. Oh, no, 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 no. Go to Hera, go to Hera, go to Hera. Go to Hera, go to Hera. No! Don't do it. That's unfortunate. Yeah, because you could have full cleared that dungeon, and now you have to save and quit and reclimb. So a better route for you here would be, after Paradox Cave, you go over to Tower of Hera, clear that, because we know it's a crystal. We can full clear it, and then come over here and then take this portal. And what that would have done would be to fill your magic. So your magic would have been full here. You would have been able to go into Turtle Rock right away, but now you can't. This is going to cost a lot of time, because you have to do the whole mountain climb again. If you had a mirror, this wouldn't be an issue, but you don't have a mirror, so you can't get back without saving and quitting. The full magic underneath that pot, by the way, but doesn't really matter in this situation, but it might in the future. I'm just realizing that you don't have the mirror here. Yeah, unfortunately, this is probably the biggest time loss that you can incur at this point. Basically, you have to pray that Turtle Rock is empty now. I like the salute. Well, you got a lot of stuff to do here. I have to transition the screen for that to work. It's a lot more efficient for you to just transition the screen to get the item to spawn and only go in the house once. Always make sure you write down your items. Yeah, so right now, yeah, always make sure you write down your dungeon prizes because you're wasting a lot of time doing these extra maps. So what I would recommend now, because we already missed out on Turtle Rock, it doesn't really get much faster to have to reclimb the mountain, and so now we kind of just have to bank on Turtle Rock being nothing. Uh, so we just got a flute. So for my money, I want to go. I want to go check the Mire area and see which medallion I need. Make sure and see if I have it or not. Because if I have it, then I can clear it. And if I don't have it, then then I know I'm looking for this ether medallion. Um, the other thing that I would say is in play is Ice Palace, but everybody hates Ice Palace, so I don't blame you for wanting to do Mire first. Um, but yeah, Mire gives you one more item, two in the shed and two in the dungeon. Plus, it gives you the medallion info. So at the very least, we'll say it's 2.5 items in Mire versus 3 in Ice Palace. Uh, although you do have 11 hearts, blue mail, and 4 blue potions, so I don't really think there's any reason that you should be avoiding Ice Palace right now. So did we see a pendant TR there? I know you did a map check. There we go. Okay, so TR is the pendant, which is good from the standpoint that you already skipped it. So now we have to like super lean into the fact that Turtle Rock is nothing. Yeah, so this is just unfamiliarity with the game. You probably won't make that mistake again. Or maybe you will, who knows? You can actually just go one screen to the right from Link's house and jump into the water that way. I'll cut down on a couple screen transitions. Yeah, so especially because TR is a pendant, um, and you just may not have to do it at all. So you just kind of have to lean into the fact that TR is nothing. But by and large, I will say, if you can enter Turtle Rock, you should probably just do it because Turtle Rock's entry requirements are so steep that if you get the ability to enter Turtle Rock uh before the end of the game, there's probably a reason that you got all of those items. I think we're looking up how to do Icebreaker, so I'll just load this up and show you. All right, so you're doing this initial lineup correctly. Just get on this pixel here. If you're using Link's sprite, you can use like the back of Link's head there. Can also I use the shadow. Yeah, because you have the shadow, and then you have some light pixels in an arc. So like if you're on like, it's really hard to do this wrong. So if you're on like that pixel, you can see there's no light pixels to the left of the shadow, so you're on the wrong pixel and you have to reset. All right. So once you're on this pixel, you need to do a clean down right movement. Now, some people can just raw dog this, and that's great for them. Uh, I have to buffer it. So what I would recommend is that you use either the start or the select menu. So while it's coming up, you can hold the direction that you want to hold, and you'll always get a clean input when you can on the next available frame when the menu is done. This is slow. Each menu takes about a second. Select menu takes slightly less, but it's still slower than just doing it regularly. But this is what you're looking for. So you get to here, and then you get your clean down right, and if you got it correctly, Link will just run infinitely while you're pressing down right. And then place your Samaria block and release down right. And then you want to go one frame to the left. So again, I would use some sort of buffer, like a slash or a pause buffer. Or you can just tap left. Because it's really hard when you're in this state. It's really hard to go too far or to tap for too long because the Samaria block is going to slow down your movement pretty significantly. So you want to tap or buffer to the left until your character faces to the left, like that. And then you want to hold either up or down. Maybe not. Alright, so I use slash buffers for everything because it's 17 frames per buffer rather than a full second. But I would recommend just starting out. So just go ahead and use the start menu. You can hookshot those guys if they're sparking. Wrong way. I think it'll be a lot easier if you have someone like telling you what to do live, or like how to navigate stuff live. And again, I highly recommend that you play a lot more seeds and get more familiar with dungeon layouts and such. Because six races is not gonna give you enough prep for brackets when you're by yourself. So yeah, you don't need to kill those guys. You have a bajillion potions. Unless those guys are super slow to kill. I'm just going to make one suggestion for Cold Stare here. You do bombos. You want to slash 3 times. The third one is going to charge a spin. 1, 2, 3. And then wait till the ice falls, and then do a spin attack on them. It'll let you group the eyeballs up a lot easier. And you can see, like, they kind of got away from me here a little bit, but initially they stay together. 1, 2, 3. Wait till the ice falls. Spin. Slash, 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 slash. See? That's a lot easier and a lot more controlled than what you're doing here. Oh, why do we hate Meyer? Oh, green pendant? Okay, yeah. No. No, don't do Eastern. Don't do Eastern. No. Oh, you just got a bow. How did I miss that you got a bow? Was it on Cold Stare and I was just not paying attention? No, it was somewhere else and I wasn't paying attention. Okay, this is fine then. Alright, so just looking for mirror. Seed's pretty friendly. Because you're one from go an hour in with all the compounded mistakes that you've made. Oh boy. Yeah, this is definitely something you need to learn. So the first thing is that you had the cape. But this is a pretty essential room that you need to learn. So what needs to happen here is that you need to do the damage boost into the anti-fairies, and then, like, as soon as your iframes run out, you need to pick up the pot. Alright, so what we do is we get out of the door, come down, and we're gonna go upright into this popo and damage boost off of it. Like that. An easy way to set this up is to kind of nudge on this like last pixel of the pipe here. So you want to nudge like right here, just to guarantee that you're not going to hit this popo early. So go a little bit lower than you want, and then just up right into that popo. And then, like I said, you wanna get into these anti-fairies. You wanna face to the left. And then as soon as your iframes run out, you want to pick up and throw that pot and get on this. Well, alright. So you need to pick up and throw this pot before your iframes run out, and you need to be standing on the switch when they do. Pick up, throw, and you need to be standing on the switch. So you have 31 frames from the time you hit this popo. You have 31 frames to pick up and throw this pot and get in position. May sound a little intimidating, but as you can see, like, you just do it a bunch and you'll get used to it. Like, any trick that you see somebody do, or any trick that I described to you, or whatever, is a lot easier to execute than it is to explain, or it's a lot easier than it sounds when I'm explaining it. So, yeah, this room just takes a little bit of practice. You have a billion potions, so might as well use them while you have them. You need a bow to kill this guy anyway, so I would try to kill those Stalfos with the bow as well. They are moving targets, so they're a little difficult to hit, but I think if you figure out like how the Stalfos move and when they're gonna pause and whatnot, it'll make it a lot easier. Sword slashes are slow here. You definitely want arrows. So for Armos, what you want to do is kind of post up underneath this guy's shield, and then you want to go 2 up, 2 to the left, and then 2 up, and then 2 up again. Alright, that's not the fast strat. This is just a beginner strat, but it's also the same strat you use for Ice Armos. So if you want to save a little bit of brain power, you can just use the same strat for both. Fastest strat here. 5 to the right, walk on over here, and just shoot down. That's kind of like the middle ground strat. It's not exactly fast, but you can get consistent enough at it that you're not going to lose a whole lot of time doing it. And then the one that you'll see me do a lot is this one. I wouldn't worry about learning something like that yet. Just either... I would honestly recommend just doing the bottom right, only because this also works in GT on ice. As weird as it sounds, this strat is easier on ice than it is on land. We want another potion, I guess? I mean, you have 3 potions. I would just go to your next area and try to find money there. There's plenty of 20s around. Oh yeah, green pendant. So, you already went to the trouble of full clearing Thieves Town for the green pendant. Might as well turn it in. I think you should have turned it in a lot earlier than that, but it's fine. Ended up not burning you. Yeah, if things are getting in your way, just kill them. Or stun them. Yeah, that works too. You don't need any magic in pod, so it's fine. Faster to pick up and throw pots than it is to hammer them. Alright, so the way the people normally route pod, the way the people normally route pod is to go to shooter room, like you just did, and then either mirror or run out. I have a mirror here. You didn't, I understand, but mirroring and running out accomplish the same thing in this situation. Alright. Shooter room first, and you backtrack. If you got a key in shooter room, then you'll open this key door, which is already open in this preset, because this is a preset for a weird category. But you would burn your key here, and then you come up and you check Arena Bridge. If both of these keys were chests, or if both of those chests were keys, you come over here and you check the big key chest. And then you fall down to Stalfos basement from here. If they were not both keys, then you won't even be able to reach this chest. So after Arena Bridge, you just backtrack and you jump down to Stalfos basement. Okay. From here, if you have a bow, you can follow this path to right side, which is what you're doing now. You want to use the bow for this whole room. They all die. If all of the enemies die to one weapon, you want to use that weapon for the whole room. As long as it's not like a medallion or something. Because yes, we do have quick swap, but you don't necessarily want to have to quick swap in the middle of an enemy kill. You can just not have to deal with it. Yeah, see what I mean though? Farming those 20 from the rock was just a waste of time at this point, because the difference between 361 and 381 is nil. Plus, you left a bunch of money on the floor there in pod basement, so. Take a dive here. Find your nearest Kadongo and take the short way back to the front. Important to mention, Kadongos do a full heart of damage no matter what mail you have. So that death warp is always going to take the same amount of time, no matter your equipment. Okay. If you're going to hammer those pots, Might as well have a little swag. You can hammer dash through those. For a little bit of time save. Because picking up and throwing pots is slow. Hammering 3 pots is even slower. And if you want people to think that you're really cool, you can just press Y and A on the same frame, hammer dash through them. And again, mimics all die to arrows, so you should just use arrows for everything in that room. Not to mention you have a hammer on your B button anyway. Because hammer and tempered sword are in the same damage class. So all these switches to hammers outside of the turtle rooms, all these switches to hammers are hurting you. Okay. I would just make sure that, like, that fight was fine, but you benefited a lot from having tempered sword. It's kind of rare that you're gonna get to fight Helma with tempered sword. So, just because of the lax entry requirements for pod. So, I would make sure that you can kill Helmasaur with, not even necessarily with NMG equipment, just like, because I think NMG equipment is like 7 hearts and a Master Sword with Green Mail, and that's probably a little more of a challenge than you want to take on right now. But I would just make sure, like, on 14 hearts and Blue Mail, just make sure that you can kill him with Fighter Sword and Master Sword. I don't love the catfish play here, because we haven't even been to Mire yet. We don't know if we need Ether or not, so even if this is the mirror, we might not even be in go mode. So I would just go to Mire, because A, it could be a fully clearable crystal dungeon. Oh, I hate this even more. Oh no. Why do we hate Mire? Oh, I guess we did skip Hera. But, I mean, at this point, it's not really worth an extra mountain climb to go and clear Hera before going to Mire. Like, if you cannot enter Mire right now, like, make the game tell you that. Like, you have a 66% chance of being able to enter Mire right now, so make the game tell you no before you do a play like this. Like, do what you have to do first, and then you can do all the optional stuff later. I would have dropped down and grabbed this stuff first. Nice. Because if you don't drop down and grab the stuff now, like both of your items could just be there. Do you think you're in go mode? Is that the joke here? No, you're just coming back. Yeah, Herapotting twice isn't great. Just get all the stuff right away. Oh, wait a second. Do the other. Okay. I was gonna say, I didn't see you pick up an item, but maybe you did. Yeah, just step on the stars, it'll change the whole. You got both your items, so yeah, and this is the other thing, like if you save Moldorm for last, you get a free portal to the beginning of the dungeon. Okay, this is fine, but you really, really need to go to Mire right now. Like, you desperately need to check Mire right now. Yeah. So, I could see an argument for this, which is, you know, this is the fastest time I have to check TR. But we already skipped a fully clearable TR like 40 minutes ago. So I don't like this. I think if you were going to dip TR, you should have done it the first time you were up here. That became impossible the way that you routed the mountain, so I think you do literally anything else before coming back here. Now, of course, you're going to spike Ether in here, and then Mire ends up being Ether, but, you know. I still think that this is an objectively bad play. You're 66% likely to have a fully clearable crystal dungeon, plus you have 2 items that do not rely on medallions at all. Plus, like, when you have both flute and mitts in hand, you should check Mire area sooner than later. Did you do compass chest? Yeah, you have 2 smalls, so you have to have. Alright, so it's a popular thing to say, you know, chomps be chomping. But you really did not do yourself very many favors here. We'll see. Let me see what initial RNG you got. Okay, so you did kind of get double blocked. You could YOLO to the right here and hope that he doesn't go right, like cardinal right or upright. But I would just go for the backup here, which I will demonstrate. I can't do that. This needs to be on here. So this is one of the rooms that I will always recommend that people learn speed strats for, because speed strats in this room are safety strats. The chain chomps have so much RNG and they do so much damage that you need to minimize the amount of time that you spend in this room in order to do it safely. So you'll see here, on your initial approach, you need to read both sides for RNG. I'm open on the left and I'm blocked on the right. Here I'm open on the left and somewhat blocked on the right, but not necessarily. See, here I'm open on both sides, open on both sides, open on both sides, open on both sides. And some percentage of the time you will get blocked, but here's basically what you do if you're not. Alright, go over here. That's how you do that. Basically, you just put down 2 cane blocks very quickly. You're an asshole. somewhat quickly. I would say rhythmically rather than quickly, because like you can't. Like being rhythmic is a lot better than being fast with the cane. Now there's like a different speed strat you can do by using sword beams, and it is faster. But you won't always have sword beams here because sometimes you get knocked by the pokey. This works with any amount of hearts. Plus, if you stand on flaps, if you stand on the flaps like this, you'll get iframes, and then you can just walk through them. So it's really helpful if they're blocking the chest. Alright, so what do you do if you get double blocked? Try and find an RNG. Alright, so we're double blocked. So you put a block there, wait for them to aggro, stand on the flaps, and kind of hope that you have enough iframes. So we're double blocked there. You always do this on the left side of the room, because no matter how many times this guy aggros, he can't hit you if you're all the way over here. But if I'm all the way over here, then he can hit me. So you always do it on the left side for the safety strat. You have to be super fluid here. You have to do all of your movements with purpose. You don't necessarily have to do it all fast. You just have to make sure you know where you're going at all times. So here, for this RNG that you got, so you're blocked here. You're fully blocked here. He's taking a long movement. I won't go into details how I know that. This guy is taking a short movement, but if he goes cardinal right, north, northeast, or northeast, he's gonna block your access to the switch. In this situation, I would just do the safety strat. So put your block here. Wait out the aggro over here, and then burst the block. Come over here, get your iframes, get the chest. Now, this would have worked out if you had YOLO'd the right side. This would have worked out because he ended up going to the left. These movements are actually fully RNG. You can kind of manipulate them, but not really. That's a bad explanation, but still. So yeah, for all intents and purposes, these movements are all RNG. Each chain chomp will do 5 movements before aggroing. And each can be either short, medium, or long. I guess I'll demonstrate here. Just keep your eye on the left chain chomp. So he does 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, he did a double move on the last one. That was 2 left movements, and then he aggroed. So essentially, chain chomps do 5 movements before they aggro. They can either be short, medium, or long movements, which means that there can be somewhere around 3/4 of a second difference between when they aggro, between short and long aggros. So all that to say, it's really hard to know what's going on in this room unless you spend a significant amount of time in it. So I would recommend learning at least the backup strat for this room, if not like left and right cane strats as well. Because then if you know cane strats, then you won't get into trouble like you did there. need to get the chest. Yeah, that's kind of punishing because that's a super tile transition, so can't chest isn't still there. Oh no. Yeah, Chain Chomps is a huge. Okay, that's huge. That is a huge find. I'm out of here. You might be in go mode right now. Like, look, your other window isn't showing my cursor, but yeah, I'm out of here. I'm out of here, and I'm checking Mire to see if I'm in go mode or not. Even if I'm not in go mode, I still have the desert clear and the swamp clear to get my medallion. And if I have to come back, I have to come back. A swamp clear will take you about the same amount of time as the rest of this dungeon will take. And you don't need to kill Trinex to beat the game. Like, if it's here, it's here. But it's a lot more likely. Like you see, there's 4 items left in Turtle Rock versus 6 in Swamp and 2 in Desert. You need to complete Swamp and Desert to beat the game anyway. Plus, it's double the amount of checks for slightly more time. Also, that's why I said before, if the game gives you access to TR and it doesn't have to, then there's probably something in there that you need. So no matter where it ends up, you're one from go mode. You either need ether or you don't. You have everything else that you need to complete every other dungeon. So when you're one from go mode, you want to check TR big chest first because that takes a lot less time than committing yourself to Mimic Cave. Even if it's here, you're only taking an extra, I think it's 13 seconds. To go check TR big chest, leave the dungeon and warp here. This whole sequence, going to Mimic Cave, clearing it, getting the chest, and then running out, that takes around 53 seconds. So yeah, there. To get the mimics to follow you, you have to have a neutral D-pad when you grab the wall. What a lot of people will do for mimics is to just tap A against the wall and grab the wall twice. You never need to kill that pokey, by the way. But yeah, what a lot of people will do to get mimics to follow them is to grab the wall twice and make sure that what is this? No, 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 no. Oh, that's bad. That's real bad. All right. I don't care how new you are at the game. This is never a thing. You never, ever, ever go past an unopened chest like this. Never leave this chest, because if this is your ether medallion and it's required, then you gotta go through this entire dungeon all over again. Not to mention, you have 0 small keys, so you need a small key, And even if this is your small key, then you have to come back through, I think it's 3 rooms to come and get this. Plus, this room is a lot easier coming south to north rather than north to south. So yeah, this is really, really bad. Never ever 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 do this again. Now you're passing up on the rest of Laser Bridge, but this is a pendant. Yeah, the things you're doing right now just make zero sense at all. Like you're going and fighting a non-required boss instead of doing the rest of Laser Bridge, which could have your required ether medallion on it. So you're picking one check over 3 to 4. That just makes no sense at all. Not to mention, like, even if you were, say, looking for silvers or gold sword because of your general unfamiliarity with the game, like, you definitely want to be looting Laser Bridge over killing Trinex there. Yeah. So let's go back just very quickly to when you found the mirror, and we're gonna see how much time got wasted. You found the mirror. Not there. I think you go downstairs here. Okay. So at this moment right here, this is when I would have left. This is 128:47 on your timer. Okay. You finally regain control of Link. At 136:12. So from 128:37 to 136:12, I was beating the game and you were doing extraneous checks. That's almost 8 whole minutes that you lost. 8 whole minutes. That's a lot of time. That is a lot of time. Like, let me just put that in perspective. In 8 minutes, I could have fluted to Meyer, seen that I didn't have the medallion, fully cleared Desert Palace. That's probably about 3 minutes and 50 seconds. And then also fully cleared Swamp Palace, which is about 4.5 minutes. the only way that works out for you is if the ether medallion is A, required, which is 33% chance, and B, is exactly in Turtle Rock in one of the locations that you didn't skip, which is a fairly minuscule chance. You're not doing a very good job of putting yourself in a good position here. Like, execution and like general unfamiliarity with the game notwithstanding, that lost a shit ton of time. Don't dash down auto stairs. They always go the same speed. There's no reason to dash. It's actually easier if you just walk onto the spikes there rather than hooking to the pot. Hooking is in general faster, but because you're going onto spikes, you need to start your iframes earlier in order to have them run out before you get on the switch. You were going the right way, by the way. Well, let me just... Oh, fluffing for silvers? That's probably fine then. So let me just show, in case you don't know. Meyer... I guess we'll do this. So... I'm gonna cheat here. So, let's just say we find our big key here. Get to the boss, you go to the left, you go to the right, you go up, go to the left, and you go up through this big key door, go through this warp, go through this big key door. Now you should recognize this room. If you're sticking around to try and find silvers, that's fine. Otherwise, yeah, your unfamiliarity with the maps is killing you here. It's like it's hurting you even more than like the TR play did. I bet you've lost 11 to 12 minutes just not being familiar with maps. Just in general where things are. Now, you won't have to worry about that in the first 6 races, because you'll have somebody in your ear to tell you where to go. But I don't I don't think 6 races is enough for you to learn all the stuff you need. I think you need to do as much as you can on your own. Now, I think I did see a message that you said you can't really play all that much, which is fine. You know, do your real life stuff first, but I would recommend you need arrows here, actually. You need arrows for Ganon's Tower. You can pick some up in swamp. You can pick some up in desert also. It's actually better to enter desert from... So it's actually better at, like, yes, you can mirror from here to the front of desert, and it's a quick warp, and yay, we all love life. But it's actually better if you run around, go to this little niche here, and enter from this side. Because no matter where your big key ends up, if your mirror warp point is the middle, then you have to run through those 3 rooms and run out of here. Versus no matter where your big key is, you can just immediately mirror once you find it. So it's better for you to go in the left side rather than the right side. There are arrows in this bottom pot right here. There are arrows in this pot right here. Okay, so see, this would have been your first check. If you had come in from the left, this would have been your first check. You could just bonk the key, mirror, and be done with it. See, now you're forced to go out and run down a room, and now run out, and it was just slow. I mean, since you have to go past this anyway, I would have done the big chest for 2 reasons. I would have done the big chest there for 2 reasons. The first is that there's arrows there, and there's arrows there. Plus, maybe you get silvers, who knows? I would use a rod here. Having that range that the rod gives you is very important. Tactical mirror, love to see it. Alright, that check is quick enough that, if it's silvers, it'll save you some time, but I I would try not to check much of anything else in here. That's weird. What happened there? Let's see what happened there. I actually don't know what happened there. You're lined up there. Are you not lined up far enough to the right? No, you're lined up on the right. I think maybe you just start backing up too early. Because you don't want to back up until the full explosion is on screen. So I think maybe you just backed up a little bit too early there, but you ended up getting it on the second try. Again, I'm not 100% sure what happened there, and I don't know why there's a perpetual play button in here now, but it's fine. There's only like 10 minutes left. I would recommend that you learn Diver Down. Oh yeah, Samaria blocks despawn before you can get to the thing. Pretty sure that's intentional, but it's fine. Yeah, so just in case you don't know what I mean by Diver Down, let's go here. So there are arrows in this pot, by the way. So if you just go into the flooded room, what you do is you line up on this pipe, take out your cane of Samaria, which to give myself. Alright. Line up on this pipe, take out your cane of Samaria, and go like maybe halfway between those pipes, just somewhere where your Samaria block is sticking out a bit from this little nub right here. Like you don't want your Samaria block to be completely underneath this pipe. But there's a pretty big range. Like that's probably fine. That probably works. Yeah. Like see how close this is to the pipe and it still worked. So and you can have it pretty far out too. Like that might work. Yeah. So you have like that whole tile or two tiles that the Samaria block takes up. So just line up on this top rail, place a Samaria block such that some bit of it is sticking out. Then you want to jump in the water, and you want to go like one frame down right, just enough so that Link faces down, and then you want to switch to a cardinal right to jump out of the water. That will put you on the correct pixel that you can't. Well, I guess you could do it on the land, but it's better to just jump in the water. So once you're on this pixel, slash and hold your sword, and then press upright. Now, you need a clean upright here, so what you can do is while you're slashing the sword during that 17 frame sword animation, you can just press up and then right, or right and then up, or whatever. Just as long as you get both buttons pressed while you're slashing the sword. So for this movement, I recommend a menu buffer. You can even menu to hookshot here, but that's kind of slow to menu inside the start menu. It's better to quick swap. But the point of using the menu here is so that you can buffer so that you can buffer the one frame of down right, and then you can buffer the cardinal right movement to get on the correct pixel. That's kind of how it's going to look. I would just fluff these chests, because you don't have silvers yet, but yeah. I would recommend at least using that. There's also a method to do it using bombs that I can show you if you want. Just let me know. The advantage to that one is that you'll always have bombs, but you won't always have Samaria. Not 100% sure you need to spin him with gold sword, so if slashing is easier, then go ahead and just slash him. Spinning is probably just easier, so you should probably just do that because it works with both gold and tempered. Yeah, like I said before, you're losing a lot of time just to due to like general unfamiliarity. Like here, the reason to mirror delete these blocks is because you want to go in the right door. The only reason you would go in the left door is to do it the vanilla way. But the reason for you to delete those blocks is to go in the right door. And yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm seeing a lot of good things that you're doing here. It's just the bad things are just like you have so many easily fixable things that you're doing here. Like you should have easily gotten like a 130 on this seed just if you were more familiar with this game. Which is what I would file under like easily fixable. Just play more, Keck. You need this key. Yep. You need to step on that star. Just a minor thing here. You don't want to hit the switch if you don't have to. Now it's overwhelmingly likely that you're going to have to, but you're never not going to check this chest. Like you're always going to check this chest, so you might as well play around the small chance that you can skip hitting this switch if the big key is here. So basically when you hook here initially, just go through the key door, get your chest, and then hit the switch on the way out, because you're gonna end up here anyway, and it's just a sword swing away. You don't need to hit the switches. You're fine. Nice boots. Aren't you glad you started with boots and you didn't have them in that stupid rando room chest? Yeah, there you go. Just hug the south wall. You can actually hook shot up to that pipe. You can actually, if you hug the south wall, you can use your hook shot to get up to this pipe, and then you can bonk over that portal. Let me show you here. So you'll be more used to going this way. Let's just pretend we did rando room. Now we're here. So yeah, just hug this wall. Hook shot here. Get into position, get like somewhat close to that warp, and you can just bonk right over it. You can also, if you can't bonk over it, if you're like too low like this, you can actually get the beetle to bail you out and just hit you over the portal. It doesn't necessarily matter because you already have 30 arrows, but this pot has arrows underneath, so it's always better to get this pot rather than that one, just because this one has arrows, and you're always going to need arrows for the next few rooms. Oh no! Oh, that's not good. Yeah, that's really not good. All right, let me show you something for that room. All right, so we're over here. We're doing this. We picked up these arrows. Now we're over here. All right, so we just come and pick this pot up. This anti-fairy is going to be stuck here for quite a while, and it's really slow to have to deal with it, but it does eventually escape. However, if I just wait a bit, so if I just walk in here and I wait until this anti-fairy touches that pot, so right here, well, it's on the path, but like right here, until the anti-fairy touches the pot, and then I pick up the pot, then it just escapes right away and it gets out of your way. So wait till the anti-fairy touches the pot, and then bomb the floor, and then it's out of your way forever. Yeah, and like I showed before, so you can't really economically do the top right strat here, but as long as you know the bottom right. I wasn't kidding when I said it was easier on ice. Yeah, dashing into that door is usually better because if you try to slash and walk, it can't nudge you into the door, but if you dash into the door, then it can nudge you in, and it's a bigger window. Yep. Yeah, you have You have 14 hearts in red mail, so I think we're and a trillion potions. So I think we need to not be afraid. I think we're allowed to take 3 hearts of damage here. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hey, Sean, it's kind of hard for me to hit that. Well, I can just take 4 hearts of damage by walking, or if I walk correctly, there's a way to only take 2 hits there. There we go. If you walk correctly, you'll only take 2. And you'll lose the dash movement, but you'll still only take the same amount of damage if you do it correctly. Yeah, again, if you have to have a neutral D-pad when you grab a wall for the mimics to follow you afterwards. But just so walk down till you're clear of that pipe. Walk all the way to the wall. Face down until you're go down until you're gonna knock against this. So essentially just kind of like that. And even if you have to use the mimics to stop from spinning, it's not all that much slower. Or even if you spin there, it's not like super detrimental. It's a lot better than doing something like this. That's bad. Don't do that. Just boop, 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 boop. Now, in the next room, so you wanna kind of take one step to the right and then face down and slash your sword again, and then make sure you're clear of the Beamos. Boop, boop. And then face up, and then you want to face up and just walk that guy into the arrow. And then if you face him while he's in iframes, then he won't shoot at you. It's hard for me to do this in slow motion, but this is going to be on YouTube, so you can just frame by frame and see my inputs and see why I'm doing what I'm doing. By the way, I prefer VOD reviews to be on YouTube so I can frame by frame through stuff if I need to. It's not super, super important. It's more for like speedrun stuff when I need to frame by frame. But if something weird happens that I need to frame by frame, I can't really do that on Twitch. I can only fast forward and rewind in 5-second intervals. So I know you say you can only play one seed a week because of the length, And people pretty much just brushed that off and said that you'll get better and you'll be able to play more, which doesn't really solve your problem, right? Because even if you cut your average down to 90 minutes, you still can't play 2 seeds, right? You can play 1 2 hour seed, then that means you can only play 1 hour and a half seed. So what I would do when you don't have time to play a full seed, just go in the prac hack, start at Gauntlet 1, and just go to the end. It's about 10 minutes per segment. And because this is the hardest part of the game, and it's the most susceptible to RNG, and you need to know, you need to come up with strats to be able to mitigate the RNG so that it doesn't just become a time sieve. So if you find yourself with, say, 30 minutes of free time, just do like 3 GT climbs. It can only benefit you. Yeah. So let me see this initially. Okay, that was fine. That was fine. You should probably not place it so low. But let me show you for here. You want to kind of place it early and a bit lower than you want it to be, because this conveyor is going to take it upwards. And they should never have time to get a shot off here. The reason that you don't do it to the right, so you can have it work there, but like this spike usually gets in your way. And of course I'm just going to do it perfectly and not be able to demonstrate what I want to, but so the problem here is that when you place the Samaria block, that's weird. I didn't know that that was a thing. When you place the Samaria block, the spike is on the right side of the room. So if you're a little slow at exploding the Samaria block, the spike has a chance to get in your way. Whereas if you place it to the left, the spike has a lot more room to travel, and you have a much bigger window to explode the Samaria block and not have the spike get in your way. So you always want to go to the left, and you want to place it like kind of maybe not a full tile below, but like just have like the top few pixels overlapping the robe of the Wizrobe here, and then you make a beeline up to this guy, because as soon as they materialize, you want to explode your block, and then you want to slash your sword. So for this room, there's a lot of stuff that you can do here. The thing though with this room is that you can get screwed in one of many ways. So collision happens on frame rules. Now, what a frame rule means is like you have a set time, and then once you have a set amount of time, and then once that amount of time elapses, then it resets. The analogy is, think of a bus on a schedule, and it comes every, in this case it's 4 frames. All that to say, if you dash into an enemy on the wrong frame, then you will lose the battle and the enemy will hit you instead of you hitting the enemy. Now you can mitigate that by using this dash line. You can do this one, or like there's a window of 2 pixels to either side as well. You don't really want to be to the right because then the conveyor will slow you down, but you can be a couple pixels to the left and still not get hit most of the time. The visual cue that I look for is that the sword is on the black line there. Uh, this this just gives you the least chance to run into an enemy and therefore to get frame ruled. So you want to do right torch first, and then you want to go anti-clockwise and light the bottom torch with the fire rod last because you want the fire rod for the next room anyway. If you don't have the fire rod, you want to start with the bottom torch and then just go anti-clockwise. Oh, how long is this going to take? Okay, we're fine. Yeah. So, two things here. Uh, what you did well here is you don't need this chest, so just don't bother with it. But you should definitely pick up the full magic underneath this pot here. It's about as free as anything gets in this game. I'm not going to go too in depth about Agatu. What I will tell you though is you want to try as hard as you can to draw a line between him and at least one of his clones. So here, I would say you want to technically be on this line, but this game calculates angles really weird, so just kind of survive through this pattern. With this one, you can't make a line, but you can make a right angle. So when you can make a right angle, it's almost as good as making a line. But yeah, this is the hardest boss to optimize because you're mixing like 2 different instances of RNG and trying to go fast with both. Yeah, it's as good a time as any to drink a potion. Drink a potion, reset. Light World. I bet you left them in Nagina. You know that check that I told you not to skip 2 hours ago? Yeah, from what I see, you're doing fine. It's just you need more confidence, and you need to like more practice will tell you like what can and cannot hit, and when you need to press versus pull out. You're doing good though. I wouldn't expect anybody who's done fewer than 10 seeds to be able to do silverless Ganon, honestly. So good on you for that. And GG. Oh, that was your first silverless fight? It didn't look like your first silverless fight. So the good, I definitely see potential in what you're already doing. A lot of your time loss came from just general unfamiliarity with dungeon layouts and map layout, stuff like that, which is easily fixable. Like you just play the game more, and that'll disappear. The bad, you should have checked the Meyer medallion way before you did. Uh, and the ugly, yeah, full clearing TR after getting the mirror and having a 66% chance to be in go mode, and that was not good. That was just never ever do that again. You also left like if you're going to full clear TR at that point, like you need to not skip crystal roller chests. You need to not skip laser bridge chests. Like you need to not skip anything if you're staying in the dungeon. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to DM me. If you want to work on stuff, feel free to DM as well.